The woman's husband sadly died in an accident, leaving the widowed mother and her child behind, and she had to face all the conflicts alone. The poor woman hadn't even had time to heal from the pain of losing her husband before she was falsely accused of being his killer. Her mother-in-law slapped her hard across the face, then told her grandson that his mother was a murderer. She snatched away the son her daughter-in-law loved the most, and even called the police to have her arrested. The poor woman lost everything from then on, including her little boy. The woman's name was Erin, and she was a beautiful flight attendant. Years ago she married a cow, the eldest son of the richest family in the area. After the wedding, a cow brought his wife home to meet his mom, younger sister, and younger brother. Even though Erin paid her respects formally, the old lady still showed contempt, warning her not to dream about the family's fortune, or else she would never have a day of peace. A cow's sister and brother also figured she wouldn't last long. Even though Erin reassured them she wouldn't steal anything that belonged to them, nobody believed her. Just then another woman showed up. Turns out it was Lei Thong, a cow's ex-wife. Lei Thong said she came to congratulate the new daughter-in-law. How harmonic, the ex-wife coming to bless the new wife. Bless her with what? Whatever she was blessing her with, the fate of the daughters-in-law in this family would probably end up the same. A cow's sister made a sarcastic remark and walked away. As for Lei Thong, she gave her a gift, purposely dropping a sexy black nightgown on the floor, bragging that she knew a cow's taste, and even told Erin to ask her about the things a cow liked. Facing so many difficulties for the sake of love, Erin powered through it all, giving up her job as a flight attendant to help her husband with his business. No matter how picky the clients were, as long as Erin helped out, a cow always managed to sign the contracts successfully. Years went by, their business was smooth sailing, and they even had a cute little boy. But a cow's sister was still a spoiled, big-spending rich girl. Seeing that her boy toy wanted to break up, she angrily cut up his expensive suit. A cow's brother was still a playboy. This time, he got caught red-handed by his wife and daughter. But for the sake of the inheritance, the whole family made up like nothing happened, because tonight they had to go celebrate the old lady's birthday. A cow's sister knew her sister-in-law had prepared a painting their mom liked, so she paid 5 times the price to buy that painting, because she wanted to suck up to their mom and get more of the fortune. To make her sister-in-law and brother lose face in front of their mom, she even tricked them by saying the party's theme today was black. Erin fell for it, and wore black to the party with her husband and son. When the old lady saw that, her face immediately darkened, scolding them that dressing like that was cursing her to drop dead. Even though Erin explained that her sister-in-law told her the theme was black, the old lady still blamed Erin for having no brains and not bothering to check if her sister-in-law had changed the theme. Seeing Erin get yelled at by the old lady, everyone secretly gloated inside. Next came the gift-giving part. A cow's brother gave an expensive diamond necklace, but the old lady scolded them for wasting her money, not even looking at it and telling the maid to put it away. A cow's sister took out the famous painting to give to their mom. Seeing the painting, the old lady sure enough loved it. A cow's sister felt smug, thinking her sister-in-law couldn't find a suitable birthday gift, so she purposely urged her brother to bring out his gift for their mom. Erin told her son Am to take a drawing out of his backpack. The drawing showed Am and the old lady holding hands, with the words "Wish you smile a lot, you will be healthy" written on top. The grandson's sincere wish made the old lady very happy. This made a cow's sister mad as hell, so she sarcastically said Am was so young but already knew how to kiss up. It wasn't until the old lady spoke up that a cow's sister finally shut up. Finally, when it was time for the old lady to announce a new decision, unexpectedly, an uninvited guest arrived, and it was Lei Thong, a cow's ex-wife. Nobody knew why Lei Thong showed up here. Meanwhile, a cow's sister happily drank her wine. Turns out this was all set up by her. She wanted to use Lei Thong to drive a wedge between her brother and his wife. The old lady said only family members were welcome here. But Lei Thong replied she still hadn't divorced a cow, so she was still their family. After saying that, she pulled out her marriage certificate with a cow. When Erin saw this, it hit her like a ton of bricks. At this moment, she finally understood the real reason a cow didn't legally marry her was because he hadn't divorced his ex-wife. The poor woman had accidentally become the other woman in people's eyes. At her mother-in-law's birthday party, she could only pretend like nothing happened. She watched Lei Thong loudly demand her mother-in-law to apologize, otherwise, she wouldn't swap the marriage certificate for a divorce paper. Lei Thong even publicly exposed that her sister-in-law was the one who called her to come. She told a cow's sister that she wouldn't play along with her plan, because she didn't want to be a tool for others to use. The old lady angrily said it was up to her whether she divorced or not. Let us see who had more to lose. Suddenly, 2 more women showed up at the birthday party. Turns out they were a cow's brother's 2 mistresses, coming to give gifts to the old lady. The 2 beauties fought over his affection, arguing right on the spot, both claiming to be a cow's brother's official girlfriend. Before long, they were pushing and fighting each other. The birthday cake also got knocked over. The scene became total chaos. Finally, Akao's brother had to order his people to kick all the fighters out. Lei Thong made a sarcastic joke about how lively the old lady's birthday was, and kept demanding an apology from her. The old lady felt so humiliated, she almost passed out. Erin left, thinking about her husband and Lei Thong's marriage certificate in her hands. On the outside she acted calm, but inside her heart was breaking. Even though Akao apologized and comforted her, she still pretended to be strong, saying it was okay. She was just surprised by the reason they couldn't legally marry. But when she was alone, she couldn't hold back her feelings and cried her eyes out. Looking at the happy pictures of her and Akao together, she never thought her true love would get her lies in return. At this moment, she got lost in memories. That day, Akao held a ring to propose to her, saying that because of business reasons, his mom wouldn't agree to let them legally marry, and asked if she still wanted to marry him. Erin thought her mother-in-law was afraid she was marrying her son for money, so to prove her love for Akao, she agreed it was fine not to legally marry. She thought as long as she waited for the day her mother-in-law accepted her, she and her husband would get legally married. Now she finally realized it was all her husband's lie. Looking at the engagement ring, she was totally heartbroken, and tears came pouring down. When she saw the photo of her and her son on her phone screen, she tried hard to hold back her tears, deciding to forgive her husband for the sake of their son. After that, she wiped her tears dry and went to check on her sleeping son. Even though her mother-in-law told her to stop negotiating business deals, she decided to be a good wife and keep helping her husband with the business, so she told her secretary to keep setting up meetings with clients. On the other side, the old lady called her daughter over to grill her, asking if calling Lei Thong over last night to humiliate her, and calling her brother's mistresses to the party to cause trouble, was all her setup. Akao's sister admitted to it, saying she did it for her mom, wanting to remind her that if she gave the fortune to her younger brother, a lot of people would come to take a cut, and if she gave it to her older brother, half of it would belong to Lei Thong. Akao's sister wanted her mom to give the entire fortune to her, complaining that her mom played favorites. No matter how well she did, her mom always thought her brother was better. Even though the old lady was mad, there was nothing she could do to her daughter. Just then, Erin's mom came to the house. She heard that Akao's ex-wife also went to the birthday party yesterday, so she came to start a fight, saying they were bullying her daughter, disrespecting her daughter, and even mocked the old lady for still holding a grudge about the past. The old lady smugly fired back that the one getting screwed over was her, because she put in so much time and effort to marry her daughter off into this family to get a piece of the fortune, but it ended up being for nothing because Akao still hadn't divorced his ex-wife. The old lady and Akao's sister smugly walked away, leaving Erin's mom so mad she was speechless. She quickly called to ask her daughter, but Erin made an excuse that she was busy meeting a client and hung up the phone. Rushing to meet her client, Erin accidentally bumped into a handsome guy. Looking at each other's faces, both felt a bit familiar, but right then they didn't think too much about it because Erin was in a hurry. She apologized to the guy and hurried off. Unexpectedly, her shoe heel broke. She was about to limp away when it started pouring rain. The guy quickly pulled her under an awning to get out of the rain. Seeing she was in a rush to meet a client, he thought fast and picked up a piece of plastic nearby to use as an umbrella, then let Erin borrow his sneakers, while he went barefoot and held the umbrella for her. The guy carefully escorted her on her way. Finally, Erin made it to her office building. Erin thanked the guy for his help, saying she had spare shoes in the office. The guy kindly helped Erin take off the shoes. Unexpectedly, this scene was seen by her sister-in-law. She immediately asked what Erin was doing. Turns out, Akao's sister heard that Erin went against their mom's wishes, coming to meet the boss of the delivery company to talk business. Akao's sister mistakenly thought the handsome guy was the delivery company's boss, so she warmly greeted him and told her secretary to take him to be entertained. The guy found out from the secretary that Akao's sister was the vice president of the rich family's banking company. When he found out Erin's identity, he quickly left the company. The guy knew Erin was Akao's wife, and in his heart, he couldn't help but feel sad and disappointed. In the office, Akao's sister was chewing out Erin, saying she didn't keep up the company's image, was seducing men, and didn't listen to her mom, setting up a meeting with the delivery company boss on her own. Erin fired back with her sister-in-law's dirty laundry, saying she used money to keep young boy toys but ended up getting dumped. Just then, the secretary came in to report that the handsome guy had left. After talking for a bit, Akao's sister finally realized she got the wrong guy. That guy wasn't the delivery company boss. Erin then mocked her for not doing her homework before doing things. Akao's sister was so mad she was speechless, so she took her anger out on the secretary. She went crazy and physically attacked the secretary to let out her anger. It wasn't until Erin was about to take a picture that she finally stopped. Erin told her sister-in-law that she knew the circus at the birthday party was all her setup, exposing her brother's bad secrets to benefit herself. Even though she went through a lot of trouble, she still couldn't break up their marriage, because she believed Akao and Lei Thong hadn't divorced due to business reasons. But Akao's sister said, "Did Akao just say that and make Erin believe it? You think Lei Thong hasn't divorced Akao just for that reason alone?" After saying that, Akao's sister smugly walked away. Not long after, she got another call from her mom's assistant, saying they couldn't reach a cow, and wanted to notify them to attend the old lady's family meeting. Erin quickly let her husband know about his mom's meeting, but what she didn't expect was that right now a cow was at Lei Thong's house. You could see they were still seeing each other. A cow was begging Lei Thong to divorce him. Seeing he was dead set on divorcing, Lei Thong told a cow to go get the divorce papers. She took that chance to sneak some drugs into his wine glass. Turns out, the old lady and her assistant were venting about how starting a business is easy, but keeping it is hard. She said even though she highly valued her daughter's strong, go-getter personality, she missed some of the basics. Her youngest son was smooth-talking but useless. The only successor she trusted was her oldest son, a cow. It was just a shame he still hadn't divorced Lei Thong. The old lady told her assistant to notify everyone to come to the meeting. She decided to announce an important decision. Everyone showed up at the house as scheduled. They saw Erin didn't come with a cow, so they asked why. Erin said a cow was busy with work and would be late. Her sister-in-law took this chance to lecture Erin again. Erin explained that she only saw a cow working hard, and he wasn't doing anything sneaky at all. Just then, the assistant came to report to the old lady that the hospital just called. At this moment, everyone had a bad feeling. The old lady and Erin rushed to the hospital to see a cow. A cow explained that he passed out because he was drinking with a client. Erin knew this wasn't the truth, and sadly walked with her mother-in-law. Unexpectedly, her mother-in-law said that Lei Thong was the one who notified them to come to the hospital, and a cow had passed out while he was at a hotel with Lei Thong. The old lady went to confront Lei Thong about what she was trying to pull. They got into a huge argument. Lei Thong once again threw insults at the old lady. The old lady got mad and slapped her face hard. Lei Thong was about to slap her right back, but luckily Erin stopped her in time. Lei Thong even cursed the old lady to get a brain hemorrhage and drop dead right on the spot. Seeing the old lady get so worked up that she was speaking nonsense, Lei Thong smugly left the hospital. Erin hurried to calm her mother-in-law down, but ended up getting slapped by the old lady, who scolded her for being useless and not being able to keep her husband in line. Even though Erin felt totally wronged, she still pretended to be strong. She sadly took her son to go see his dad. She told her dad about all the messes she was dealing with, saying her husband had been lying to her all this time. The real reason they couldn't legally marry was because he hadn't divorced his ex-wife, and she even caught him fooling around with his ex-wife at a hotel. Her dad used his and her mom's story to give her advice, saying before getting a divorce, he still kept up the marriage relationship with her mom. Not for the marriage certificate but for the kids. He comforted his daughter, saying a cow might have his own hidden struggles. He asked his daughter if she still loved a cow. At this moment Erin went quiet. Her dad reminded her to think back on why she married a cow back then. Turns out, back then Erin married a cow to pay off her mom's gambling debts. Her dad said if it was just for that reason, he advised her to just suck it up and endure it. Listening to her dad's advice, Erin was about to take her son home. Out of nowhere, Am chased after a ball and accidentally fell into the water. Right then a handsome guy came and saved Am. Erin saw the guy and froze up again. Turns out, when they met for the first time, they already recognized each other as old acquaintances. At that time they both thought the other person didn't remember them. Erin asked the guy what he was doing at her company that day. The guy said he came to look for her. Just then a cow came looking for them. A cow thanked the guy for saving his son. The guy introduced himself as Erin's neighbor. As he left, he looked at a cow with a sad look in his eyes. A cow explained the hotel thing to Erin, saying yesterday he went to find Lei Thong to sign the divorce agreement, but he saw in the mirror that she dropped drugs into his wine glass. He quickly stopped Lei Thong and asked why. Lei Thong confessed that it was his sister who egged her on, but Lei Thong's goal was just to piss off his mom. A cow said he purposely drank that glass of wine and pretended to pass out. Erin asked her husband why he did that. A cow said that even though he knew it was drugged, he still drank it, because this was the only way to get his mom to agree to let him be the family heir. Turns out a cow wanted to play a trick. He wanted to show his mom how ruthless his sister was. Sure enough, he got a call from his mom, telling him to come home for a family meeting. Right now, his younger brother and sister were already waiting. Turns out they just found out the bank and real estate company they were managing were going to be handed over to a cow. They were about to ask their mom why. When Erin and a cow arrived too, the sister immediately grilled a cow about what he said to their mom to make her decide to let him take over the whole company. Right then, the old lady came out to announce her decision. She let her daughter manage the shopping mall, and let her youngest son manage the car factory. The brother and sister both objected. A cow pointed out a lot of problems in their company management, saying he would help them fix these issues. The sister once again reminded their mom that her brother still hadn't divorced Lei Thong. The old lady said she wasn't crazy. Even though a cow hadn't divorced, he was the only one she had peace of mind with. After that, she told them the reason that made her make this decision. She called out the fact that a cow passing out at the hotel was all because of his sister's dirty tricks. The sister instantly shut up. Turns out, earlier at the hospital, Akao had given the divorce papers to the assistant to hand over to his mom. He explained that he went to see Lei Thong to discuss the divorce, and snitched to his mom that his sister was the one who egged Lei Thong on to drug him. Akao said his sister went this far just to be the heir, so he pretended to give up the heir position to her. Just as he predicted, his mom chose him to be the heir instead. His sister argued that their mom was the one who taught her this. To get what you want, you have to do whatever it takes. The old lady said their mistake was not using their actual skills. She said all three of them had equal abilities, then used giving a daughter away in marriage as an example to explain why she did what she did. She said she would choose a son-in-law who knows how to take care of her daughter, not someone who only knows how to sleep with her. The old lady stated that Akao would try his best to grow the company, while they just wanted to get the company to enjoy the perks. In the end, she announced that she would let her daughter and youngest son use borrowed funds from the company. Within a year, they had to successfully run the shopping mall and the car factory to prove their skills. During this time, Akao would manage the entire corporation on her behalf. After saying that, she firmly walked out of the meeting room. Seeing the corporation they had always dreamed of being snatched away by their older brother, the younger brother and sister hated Akao to the bone. The look in their eyes sent shivers down Erin's spine. Seeing blood siblings turn into enemies over money, she realized that the war for the family fortune had only just begun. The old lady angrily declaring Akao as the heir made his sister, who had plotted so hard, mad as hell. She smashed the famous painting worth millions. That was the birthday gift she had given their mom. Surprisingly, her mom wasn't mad at all. Instead, she told her that letting her emotions control her would lead to a miserable defeat. Akao's sister cried and complained that she had made a ton of money for the bank, but their mom never saw her contributions, accusing her mom of clearly wanting the oldest brother to be the heir but purposely testing them anyway. Akao's sister cried her heart out, totally unwilling to accept it. She didn't want the fortune falling into her older brother's hands, so she went to her younger brother, who was also upset, wanting to team up with him to stop their older brother from becoming the heir. Before she could even talk to her younger brother, she got a new update from the butler, and in a fit of rage pushed her younger brother into the water. Turns out, the old lady wanted to hold a press conference to announce Akao as the heir. What they didn't know was that the old lady making Akao the heir came with a condition. She personally told her son about the press conference and asked him what it took to be the heir. Akao told his mom that he would divorce his ex-wife Lei Thong. But what he never saw coming was his mom throwing in a second condition. After divorcing Lei Thong, he could never legally marry anyone else. If he agreed, he would be the official heir of the family. Akao immediately figured out his mom's scheme. If he couldn't legally marry, the entire family fortune would belong to his mom. The siblings would still have to follow her orders. They were just tools for his mom to use. The old lady couldn't care less about her son's complaints. She demanded that he agree to the conditions and then go give his speech at the meeting. Meanwhile, Erin got the orders from the butler and actively started setting up the press conference exactly how the old lady wanted it. When she and her co-workers went to talk over the work, she found out that the new co-worker in charge of public relations was actually Soy. Turns out Soy had gotten a job at Erin's company. After handing out the assignments, Erin looked worried because she hadn't been able to reach Akao since the morning. The prep work for the press conference was quickly finished. The old lady brought her daughter and youngest son to the venue, getting ready for the press conference, but then got word that her oldest son still hadn't shown up. She immediately asked Erin where Akao was. Erin didn't know where he was either. After looking around for a bit, she found out Akao was at home. She wanted to head home to look for Akao. When Soy heard about this, he volunteered to be her driver. In the car, the two of them chatted about their childhood memories. Soy said he had kept the promise between the two of them. No matter how much time had passed, no matter where she was, no matter what situation she was in, he would always be by her side. Soy asked Erin if she still loved Akao. He suspected the married couple had a fight, which was why Akao didn't show up to the meeting. Right then, Erin got a call from her mother-in-law, saying that she wouldn't allow her and her son to legally marry, which was why Akao wasn't showing up. Her mother-in-law said she wouldn't hand the fortune over to her, but promised to give it to her grandson, on the condition that she convinced Akao to attend the press conference. Turns out the old lady had just called Akao. Akao wanted his mom to hand over half of the fortune to him, or else he wouldn't attend the press conference. If that happened, the company's reputation and stock prices would take a hit, causing a 10 billion loss. The old lady angrily threw her phone. The butler advised the old lady to just do what Akao wanted, because sooner or later the fortune would belong to her kids anyway. But the old lady refused to give in to her son, so she ordered Erin to go talk him into it. Knowing the truth, Erin pretended like she didn't know a thing and asked Akao for his reason. Akao honestly told Erin that he wanted to be the heir because he wanted to protect her and their son. If he couldn't protect them, wanting this position would be totally pointless. For the sake of their son, Erin gave her husband a pep talk, telling Akao to just do what his mom said, not just to be the heir, but to become the true boss of the company. Once he became the boss of the company, no one would be able to boss him around anymore. Erin said she would back him up in becoming the head of the company. Listening to his wife's advice, Akao showed up to the hall at the very last minute. Seeing her son arrive, the old lady breathed a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Akao's brother and sister were grinding their teeth in anger. Actually, Erin had her own agenda. Even though she didn't have the same power as the others in the family, she was going to fight her own way. To get revenge, the guy faked his identity and applied for a job at his enemy's company. He wanted to infiltrate the company to pull off his revenge plan. Staring at the company's logo, he got lost in his memories. Turns out, he used to be a rich kid from a wealthy family, living in the lap of luxury since he was little. Unexpectedly, one night, disaster struck his family. His dad was suspected of embezzling money from the factory. The person who led the cops there was none other than Akao's mom. Turns out, Akao's mom had set it up so Soya's dad would cook the books, framing him for embezzling the factory's money. She called a board meeting, stripped his dad of his chairman title, and took over the position herself. She successfully hijacked Soya's dad's bread factory. At that moment, Soya's dad finally understood that her partnering up with him was all planned from the start, and her ultimate goal was to steal his factory. Faced with the fake evidence she planted, he had no way to fight back and was dragged away by the cops right in front of his wife and kids. From then on, their lives went straight from heaven to hell. They moved to the slums, barely surviving day by day eating veggies. Soya's dad couldn't handle the shock and tried to end his own life, but luckily he was found in time. Now that little boy had grown up, but his dad had lost his mind since then, drifting in and out of reality. To get payback, Soy got a job at his enemy's company. He secretly swore to get revenge for his family. After stealing Soy's parents' bread factory, Akao's mom had built it into the massive business empire it was today. He saw Erin bringing Akao to the press conference. Akao got on stage and presented the corporation's history, saying the company had grown from a single bread factory into a multi-industry empire. To expand globally, he announced that the company would be restructuring. He promised to lead the corporation to success. His speech received a huge round of applause. The old lady smiled with satisfaction. Meanwhile, Akao's brother and sister were grinding their teeth. Akao and his siblings had no idea that the original bread factory was scammed out of Soya's dad's hands by their mom. Seeing the company that rightfully belonged to his family fall into someone else's hands, Soy felt extremely bitter inside. He wanted to keep his identity a secret and get close to everyone in charge of the company. He walked up to say hi to Erin, thanking her for getting Akao there on time. Otherwise, he might have gotten fired. He then introduced himself as the head of public relations to Akao's sister. He slipped the detail that Erin was the one who brought Akao to the venue. Erin made an excuse that Akao was sick, which was why he was late. Akao's sister clearly didn't buy it, shooting back that Akao still had to survive a board vote before he could officially become the heir to the corporation. Erin replied that she brought Akao there just like her mother-in-law wanted, and if the sister went against her older brother, she was basically going against the old lady. But Akao's sister wasn't scared of her warning at all, and kept looking for every possible way to stop her brother from becoming the heir. The sister noticed that Erin was trying to win everyone over, inviting the younger brother's wife out for coffee to talk her into supporting Akao. Erin was a smooth talker and quickly won her over. But right after Erin left, Akao's sister used manipulative words to talk the younger brother's wife out of it. Her reasoning was that as long as Akao wasn't the heir yet, they still had a shot. You never know if you don't try. She came up with a kill two birds with one stone scheme. She leaked a rumor that the company was going to do massive layoffs after the restructuring. Seeing this news, the employees were totally freaking out. Then she had her younger brother play the good guy, going around comforting the employees to win them over. This trick of hers made Akao lose the people's support, while the younger brother reaped all the benefits. She knew perfectly well that if anyone dug into where the rumor came from, they would only trace it back to the younger brother. By then, she would get to sit back and watch her two brothers tear each other apart, while she reaped the rewards. But she totally underestimated how well her mom knew them. The old lady didn't even need to investigate to guess that her daughter was the one pulling the strings. But she didn't want to step in and fix it herself. She wanted to see how her oldest son would handle the mess. She was still ticked off that Akao hadn't listened to her, and even had the nerve to threaten her. She asked Akao what Erin had said that made him change his mind and show up to the press conference. Akao explained that Erin just wanted to stay by their son's side, and that was enough. The old lady looked pretty skeptical. When Akao got home, he heard about the layoff rumors from Erin. Erin had already sent someone to dig into where the leak came from. She was worried the company was going to be in deep trouble. She asked Akao if they should call in the press to clear things up. On the flip side, Soy was out for a jog, thinking about how Erin was Akao's wife. At the same time, the image of his poor, sick dad flashed in his mind. He seemed to hesitate, knowing his revenge would end up hurting Erin. He had also been keeping it a secret from his family that he was working at their enemy's company. But today, his dad had spotted his employee ID badge. Soy was worried his dad would figure out his secret. Surprisingly, his dad had another episode and didn't even recognize him. Seeing his dad like that only made Soy more dead set on getting his revenge. Lately, the corporation had been trending online because of the layoff rumors, so a ton of reporters showed up at the company to cover the story. Soy was managing the crowd when he saw Erin bringing a cow to the company. He also noticed a shady-looking guy showing up at the scene. Soy spotted the guy reaching into his bag to pull something out, so he quickly stopped him and had the security guards check his bag. Turns out, all he had in his bag was a picture of a little girl. The man said it was a picture of his daughter, claiming he was a long-time driver for the company. He got down on his knees and begged a cow not to fire him, because he still had a daughter to feed. A cow cleared up the rumors, announcing that the company wasn't going to lay anyone off. The man stayed on his knees thanking a cow. After that, the secretary escorted the man out of the hall. A cow went on to tell the press that the company was able to grow to where it is today thanks to the hard work of every single employee, and he wasn't going to leave anyone behind. A cow's touching speech and this surprise incident, once picked up by the news, quickly completely shut down the backlash over the layoffs. Erin also managed to track down that the one who started the rumor was a cow's sister. A cow actually thought it was all his mom's doing, telling his wife that his mom had just given him a new challenge: buy out a failing insurance company. Meanwhile, Soy overheard his coworkers saying that the guy was super sketchy and definitely wasn't a long-time driver for the company. Feeling suspicious, Soy happened to catch Erin's secretary paying that exact same guy. It instantly clicked for him this guy was totally a paid actor. Soy went straight to Erin to confront her about it. Erin admitted that she was the one who hired the guy. Soy said he couldn't believe it. She was actually lying to the whole country just to get what she wanted, telling her she was no longer the girl he used to know. Erin fired back that she was now the wife of a company executive with a kid to take care of, so she couldn't afford to be that girl from the past anymore. She stated she would do whatever it took to make her husband the heir. Right then, a cow walked in, cutting their conversation short. Knowing they were talking about that guy, a cow explained his reasoning for doing it. Soy then brought up a friend as an excuse to ask his own burning question. Soy said that this friend of his got everything he loved stolen from him. He used to have it all, a loving family and the person he loved. But suddenly one day, his dad got stabbed in the back by his business partner, who stole the company from him. If a cow was the son of the person who stole someone else's company, and later found out that the company and everything he had wasn't actually his, would he give it all back? Before a cow could even answer, Soy's mom called, saying his dad had run away from home. As it turned out, Soy's dad had showed up at the corporation's headquarters. It turned out he had seen a cow's mom on the news. It triggered his memories of a cow's mom stealing his company, so he pushed past the security guards, stormed into the lobby, and started screaming that this was his company. After that, he had an episode and passed out right on the spot. Luckily, Soy found his dad just in time and took him back home. Meanwhile, a cow's sister and younger brother were busy trying to talk the major shareholders into backing the younger brother as the heir. Unexpectedly, the old lady called right then, saying she knew the layoff rumor was her daughter's doing, and told them to knock it off because a cow had already crushed the backlash. It wasn't until her mom sent her a video that a cow's sister finally realized her plan had totally flopped. She had no choice but to swallow her pride and accept her mom's arrangement to go run the shopping mall. But the very first thing she did when she took over was fire the old manager. Uncle Da had been working for her mom for nearly 20 years, and he called her out for having zero respect for her elders. But nobody else dared to say a word to a cow's sister. Right when she walked into her office, a handsome guy named Nathan handed her a rose. Knowing that Nathan was sent by her older brother to keep an eye on her, a cow's sister furiously threw the flower right back at him. Nathan told her that he was more than happy to work with her. He even leaked the secret challenge the old lady had given a cow. Because of that, a cow's sister decided to keep Nathan around. This played right into a cow's hands. He wanted to use this guy to distract his sister. This slick guy wanted to seduce the rich heiress, and had no shame showing off his hot body right in the office. He flexed his ripped muscles. But the girl wasn't falling for this thirst trap at all. She just picked up his clothes from the desk and threw them at him. A cow's sister couldn't believe her older brother not only sent Nathan to spy on her, but even tried to use a honey trap to mess with her head. As for Nathan, he was super ambitious too. To become the son-in-law of this loaded family, he was willing to play dirty. So to win over her trust, he did exactly what she asked and snooped around to check on a cow's health. Cow just told him to focus on getting the job done. Turns out just a little while ago, a cow suddenly got hit with crazy chest pains in his office. While panicking, he even knocked over the coffee on his desk. He was too scared to tell his wife that something was seriously wrong with his health. Today, he and Erin went to buy out the insurance company. He felt that unbearable chest pain again. He just hid in the restroom to catch his breath for a sec, and then went with his wife to meet the client. To their surprise, the person showing up to meet them was none other than Lei Thong, a cow's ex-wife. Lei Thong told them flat out that she had already bought the insurance company. Seeing his ex-wife, a cow instantly figured out his mom's true intentions. His mom totally knew Lei Thong was trying to buy the insurance company. She wanted a cow and his ex-wife to completely turn into enemies, which was exactly why she assigned him the mission to buy it. Lei Thong told Cao to go back and talk it over with his mom, or else they'd be fighting to the bitter end. After saying that, Lei Thong stormed off in anger. Erin knew her husband didn't want to go up against his ex, so she made an excuse to go to the restroom. Stressed out, Cao had another heart attack and collapsed to the floor. Erin frantically rushed her husband to the ER. Standing outside the hospital room, she was worried sick and burst right into the room. The doctor told her that Cao had a severe heart condition and needed emergency surgery. Otherwise, his life would be on the line. But Cao was paranoid that his mom would use this as an excuse to strip him of his heir status, so he completely ignored his wife's advice and insisted on putting off the surgery. He made up his mind to buy out the insurance company first, and only get the surgery after officially becoming the heir. The old lady and Cao's sister also got the news that Cao was hospitalized, so they rushed over to Erin's house to see what was going on. Brushing past Erin trying to stop them, they barged into the room looking for Cao, but he was nowhere to be seen. Just then Cao walked in through the front door. Everyone started asking how he was doing. Cao claimed he was perfectly healthy and ready to run the corporation for the long haul. He told his mom to wait for him in the home office, promising to come give her an update on the company buyout. Once everyone cleared out, Erin quickly told her husband to get some rest. In tears, she told him she had been worried sick about him and was terrified that he was going to die. Cao thanked his wife for crying her eyes out over him, comforted her telling her not to worry, and said he had to go give his mom the update. While waiting in the home office, the old lady got a call from Lei Thong. Lei Thong called her out for not having the guts to face her directly, but hiding behind Cao instead. Lei Thong also threatened that if she told Cao what the old lady had actually done to her, the old lady would be the one wishing she was dead. After dropping that bomb, Lei Thong hung up the phone. The old lady looked absolutely terrified that her son might find out about what happened in the past. Cao still had no clue what exactly went down between his ex-wife and his mom. Even though they were already divorced, his mom was still forcing him and Lei Thong to compete and become flat-out enemies. His mom told him to stop asking questions, simply demanding that he absolutely had to buy out the insurance company, or else he wouldn't deserve a single dime of her fortune. On her way out, the old lady checked in with Erin, asking if Cao was really okay. Erin lied and said he was perfectly fine. The old lady then told Erin that Cao and Lei Thong still had feelings for each other. Her mother-in-law's words planted a seed of doubt, making her suspect her husband was cheating, so she immediately confronted Cao about it. After hearing her husband's heartfelt explanation, Erin believed him again. She decided to help her husband buy out the insurance company and wrap everything up as fast as possible, knowing full well his sister and brother would do anything to stop him from becoming the heir. Erin's gut feeling was right on the money. Cao's sister found out that all the security cameras at the hotel where her brother was talking business were broken. She guessed her brother was actually sick yesterday, so she told her secretary to check all the hospitals around the hotel. She was dead set on finding out exactly why her brother was hospitalized. As for Erin, to squash the problem fast, she personally set up a meet with Lei Thong. The woman had a really hard time getting pregnant, and before she could even share the happy news with her husband, someone drugged her, causing heavy bleeding and a miscarriage. The intense pain made her cry out miserably, rolling on the floor and screaming for help. But what she never saw coming was that the person who drugged her was her own mother-in-law, just because she didn't listen to her. Lei Thong couldn't believe her mother-in-law could be this evil, willing to kill her own grandchild just to force her to obey. She could only cry in pure agony. In the end, she was forced to leave her mother-in-law's house, and her marriage to Cao ended in failure. The pain of losing her child made her hate her mother-in-law to the bone, and she hated their entire family even more. So when she found out Cao was sick, she brushed off Erin's begging and didn't stop buying the insurance company. Instead, she sped up the process. Knowing this, Erin went to beg Lei Thong to stop again. Lei Thong asked Erin, since she once said she would kneel, she wanted to see if Erin actually had the guts to kneel in front of her. Erin immediately dropped to her knees in front of Lei Thong right in public, sincerely apologized and bowed. Unexpectedly, Lei Thong grabbed the coffee cup on the table and threw it right at Erin's head. Erin didn't expect Lei Thong to do that, but she didn't get mad at all, still begging Lei Thong to drop the insurance company buyout. Lei Thong mocked Erin for being too naive, telling her to go back and tell her mother-in-law that she wouldn't stop, and would even destroy her company. Erin had no clue what kind of bad blood was between her mother-in-law and Lei Thong that made Lei Thong hate her so much. Turns out, not long before this, Cao's sister had leaked the news of her brother's serious illness to the press. The moment the news dropped, the company's stock price tanked. She and her younger brother urged their mom to speed up the board's voting process. Cao dragged his sick self to meet his mom and sister. Even though he successfully handled this crisis, he had a heart attack right as he was leaving. Being followed by his sister, he didn't dare go to the hospital, pushing through the pain to get home under Erin's cover. Luckily, Soy came by to drop off some documents. To avoid being spotted by anyone, Erin told Soy to take her husband to the hospital. The hospital gave Cao emergency surgery. Erin waited anxiously outside the hospital room. Soy stayed with her and comforted her. He suspected Erin didn't truly love her husband, so he dropped hints about his own feelings. Turns out Soy had been in love with Erin for a really long time. Even though she was someone else's wife now, Soy still loved her just the same. That night, he stayed at the hospital with Erin all night long. When he woke up the next morning, he saw Erin resting on his shoulder. This made Soy super happy. He was thrilled that he could be there for her when she needed him. Sure enough, he helped her out once again, catching Erin right as she was about to pass out. On the flip side, Kenta wanted to suck up to their mom, asking her to help take down Lei Thong. But the old lady said she purposely let her son compete with Lei Thong on the buyout project. The reason I let your brother handle it is because I want that woman to wish she was dead. There is nothing more painful than being hurt by the person you love. The old lady told her daughter to stay out of company business, advising her to find someone to marry soon. But the family's trillion-dollar fortune made Kenta see red with greed. She was super ambitious, wanting to be the company heir, dead set on doing whatever it takes to stop her brother from taking over. Kenta got word that Lei Thong wanted to buy the insurance company, so she immediately called a board meeting and decided to raise the bid. Erin found out and was worried sick, because the only person with the power to approve it, a cow, was still in a coma in his hospital bed. She then left Soy behind to look after a cow, while she went to beg Lei Thong. Right then, Soy got a text from his mom. Seeing his mom's care, Soy felt the urge to get revenge for his family again. He walked up to a cow's hospital bed, flashing back to the tragic events from years ago. Back then, a cow's mom stole his dad's company, causing his dad to try and end his life, which failed but left him out of his mind. He wanted to pull a cow's breathing tube because if the head of the corporation went down, the company would take a massive hit. But in the end, after hesitating a bunch of times, Soy changed his mind because he didn't want to hurt Erin, the woman he deeply loved. He woke a cow up and filled him in on everything. Since Lei Thong publicly announced she was buying the insurance company, his sister was in a meeting to raise the bid. On the other side, Erin begged Lei Thong but got nowhere, so she dragged herself back to the company. Everyone saw Erin soaking wet like a drowned rat and was totally shocked. But then they saw the video of Erin kneeling online and started gossiping like crazy. Erin had told her secretary to leak this video. After that, she went back to the meeting to deal with Kenta. But Kenta insisted that her brother show his face to handle the problem. Just when Erin didn't know what to do, luckily Soy brought a cow into the hall. His showing up made his sister's plan flop once again. But then things went wrong. A cow's surgical wound ripped open and started bleeding. Kenta wouldn't let it go and tried to step up to check, but luckily Soy covered for a cow just in time, helping him hide the surgery. After announcing the issue was handled, he hurried to the break room. Soy accidentally overheard Erin caring a lot about a cow, with the married couple pouring their hearts out to each other. Standing outside the door, Soy felt heartbroken, quietly walked away to an empty spot, and silently apologized to his parents. The daughter-in-law got slapped multiple times by her mother-in-law right in front of her husband, but the husband didn't dare to stop his mom. Turns out, not long before this, to help her husband buy the insurance company, Erin threw away her pride as a rich family's daughter-in-law and knelt down to beg Lei Thong in public. Erin even got coffee thrown at her by Lei Thong. This whole scene was recorded by people and posted online. The mother-in-law saw the video, got so mad she didn't care what was right or wrong, and slapped her daughter-in-law repeatedly, chewing her out that kneeling was a sign of giving up to Lei Thong, and blaming her that the leaked video made their family lose face. Finding out that Erin was the one who had people leak the video to ruin Lei Thong's image, the mother-in-law slapped her yet again. She didn't care that outsiders saw Lei Thong's nasty behavior. She only cared that people would misunderstand and think their family wasn't as rich as Lei Thong. Seeing his mom taking her anger out on his wife, a cow quickly begged her, saying Erin did it all for their family. The old lady's anger finally cooled down a bit. The old lady was about to say something, but a cow cut her off. The old lady told Erin to do her best to win back the family's honor, then stormed off. Erin never expected that working so hard to help her husband would only get her misunderstandings and slaps from her mother-in-law in return. She felt totally wronged and cried her eyes out. She didn't get what the beef was between Lei Thong and her mother-in-law, so she asked her husband why. A cow told his wife that back then when he came home, he found Lei Thong lying on the floor, groaning in pain. After rushing her to the ER, he found out Lei Thong had a miscarriage. His mom claimed Lei Thong married him just to save her bank, used the baby to blackmail her, and that Lei Thong was the one who killed her grandson. Erin finally knew the reason her mother-in-law and Lei Thong hated each other, but she didn't know that a cow had kept some things from her. After explaining the beef between his mom and his ex-wife, a cow gave his mom an update on the buyout price, saying that thanks to the video, the insurance company chose to work with him, and the price was the same as Lei Thong's. But the old lady was worried Lei Thong would raise her bid and snatch the insurance company away, so she ordered a cow to offer a higher price and beat Lei Thong at all costs. Listening to his mom's orders, a cow went to Lei Thong's house. He lied to Erin, saying he had to work overtime at the office. Knowing the old lady planned to drop 200 billion to beat her, Lei Thong told him not to feel guilty about scamming his mom's money. Compared to their child's life, that money meant nothing. Turns out, back then, a cow didn't believe his mom. He checked the security cameras and found out the ones pulling the strings behind everything were his mom and his sister. A cow and Lei Thong seemed to have reached some kind of deal, wanting to get payback for their kid. After talking business, a cow called out Lei Thong for throwing coffee at Erin's head. Seeing Lei Thong getting jealous, he sweet-talked and comforted her again. Rewind to the next morning. Erin woke up, couldn't find her husband anywhere, and felt super confused. Not long after, she was surprised to see a cow and their son throwing a birthday party for her. The whole family happily took family photos again. Seeing Erin suspecting he didn't come home last night, a cow explained that he got back super late, and to avoid waking her up he slept in the living room. Erin bought her husband's story and happily leaned into his arms. She was shocked to hear her mother-in-law drop 200 billion to beat Lei Thong. A cow told his wife not to overthink it, telling her to dress up real nice tonight for a birthday surprise he had planned. Soy, who had a crush on Erin, was also about to send her a happy birthday text, but after hesitating for a bit, he deleted it. Meanwhile, Lei Thong was feeling down. She remembered a cow saying he only loved her, but last night, when she wanted to get intimate with him, a cow used his unrecovered body as an excuse and bounced. She couldn't help but wonder if a cow still loved her. Not long after, she got a call from Erin. Erin said she now understood the beef between Lei Thong and her mother-in-law, advising Lei Thong to let go of the hate, find a guy to marry, and start a new life. That would be the best way to get back at her mother-in-law. But Lei Thong told Erin that back then, because of the miscarriage, she lost the ability to have kids, and now nobody wants to marry a woman who can't have babies, saying she couldn't start a new life either. She blamed a cow's mom for ruining her life and swore she would never stop getting revenge. Erin said that because she wanted to help her husband, she would become Lei Thong's enemy. Knowing her mother-in-law wanted to spend 200 billion to buy the insurance company, and looking at her ex-husband's happy family photo, Lei Thong felt heartbroken and smashed things up. Now she couldn't get revenge on her mother-in-law, and the man she loved had become someone else's husband. Thinking about Erin saying she would go up against her, she hatched a plan. Knowing today was Erin's birthday, she reached out to a cow, telling him to come over to her place tonight, and in exchange he'd get what he needed. To get what he wanted, even though he already promised Erin they'd celebrate her birthday, a cow decided to ditch her and hurried over to see Lei Thong. Erin thought her husband was going to give her a surprise, so she excitedly went to the hotel alone. She patiently waited for a long time, but still didn't see her husband anywhere. Worried, she went to the office to look for him. Right then she got a text from a cow. A cow lied, saying he had an emergency to handle, apologizing to his wife that he couldn't make it. Erin was bummed out, having no idea where her husband was. She never expected that right now a cow was at his ex-wife's house, playing cards with Lei Thong. At the same time, Erin was feeling miserable at the office. What she didn't expect was that Soy showed up too. Turns out Soy had gotten a gift for Erin in advance. He was planning to sneak the gift into her office, but unexpectedly bumped into Erin. Seeing the thoughtful gift Soy prepared, Erin took a trip down memory lane. When she was a kid, she broke her favorite snow globe. Back then, Soy promised that when he grew up, he'd buy her a new one. Soy was super happy that Erin still remembered their memories. Knowing Erin hadn't eaten dinner because she was looking for a cow, he took her out for wonton noodle soup at a street stall. Soy even got candles ready to wish her a happy birthday. After a fun dinner, Erin drove Soy home. She even said hi to Soy's mom. Soy was scared his mom would recognize Erin, so he quickly told his mom to go inside, and told Erin to head home early. Soy's mom knew her son worked at a cow's mom's company, so she told him to quit his job, because she was terrified that if his identity got exposed, he'd be in danger. Soy's mom's worries were spot on. A picture of Soy and Erin eating noodles got sent to Kenta. Kenta knew her brother didn't go celebrate her sister-in-law's birthday, so out of jealousy, she brought a cake over to wish Erin a happy birthday. She sarcastically mocked her brother for letting his wife celebrate her birthday all alone. Erin explained that a cow was busy because he was about to take over as chairman. Kenta got mad, threw the cake, and told Erin that she didn't know her husband at all, and if she wanted to stay happy, she better not let a cow become the heir. Erin obviously didn't buy her sister-in-law's lies. The next day, she went to the company feeling bummed, asked the receptionist, and found out her husband still hadn't shown up. Seeing this, Soy brought her chamomile tea to comfort her, hoping she'd feel better after drinking it. Before Erin could even take a sip, she got pulled away by her secretary to meet with the shareholders. The shareholders grilled her on why they were buying a failing company for such a high price. Just when Erin didn't know how to answer, luckily a cow showed up in time. He explained that it was the old chairman's idea, so the shareholders had no choice but to leave. Seeing his wife acting cold toward him, a cow sincerely apologized, confessed that he was with Lei Thong last night, and then handed Erin a file. Erin saw that it was Akao and Lathong's divorce agreement. Akao explained that he was taking care of this last night, and that soon he would legally marry her, saying it was the best birthday gift he wanted to give her. Seeing he was being genuine, Erin forgave her husband, because she had been waiting for this day for a really long time. Just a second ago she was sad, but now she was beaming with joy, happily hugging Akao, and telling him to give the divorce papers to his mom first. Their conversation was eavesdropped on by Soy. Hearing that they were about to get legally married, Soy walked away broken-hearted. For the sake of Erin's happiness, he decided to give up on getting revenge for his parents and wrote a resignation letter. When the old lady saw the divorce agreement, she was totally mind-blown. She never expected Lathong to throw in the towel so easily. But what she really didn't see coming was that the son she valued the most, Akao, wanted to replace her and become the company's biggest shareholder. The old lady obviously wasn't having it. But Akao used all sorts of dirty tricks to blackmail her. She couldn't believe her son found out the truth about her setting up Lathong, and was even using a video to blackmail her. Since things had reached this point, the old lady had no choice but to back down to her son. But she couldn't swallow her pride. The old lady told her daughter to go head-to-head with Akao, demanding she talk the guy in charge of land zoning into changing the city's plans to remove their plot of land. That way, she'd get nominated at the shareholder meeting. Kenta immediately went to meet the guy. This guy actually wanted Kenta to sleep with him. Kenta absolutely refused, and smashed a wine bottle over his head. Kenta yelled at him to call the cops, believing her family had way more power than he did. Akao found the gift Soy gave his wife, and it seemed he had caught on to Soy's feelings for his wife. That day, right when Soy was about to hand in his resignation, Akao said he had something to talk to him about. When Kenta went to do the task her mom gave her, she realized her mom literally just treated her like a piece of meat to be traded. She went back to confront her mom, but only got an even harsher answer confirming it. Her mom only saw her as an item to trade for networking connections. Realizing the truth, Kenta was totally heartbroken. In despair, it seemed like she was plotting to get back at her mom. After a wild night of letting loose, Kenta contacted her mom, begging for one more chance. She was willing to do whatever it takes, on the condition that she replace her older brother as vice chairman. After manipulating her daughter, the old lady drove a wedge between her youngest son and oldest son. She called her youngest son over, grilled him about embezzling company funds, and ordered him to pay the money back before the shareholder meeting, or else she'd call the cops and have him arrested. Akao's brother thought his older brother had snitched to their mom, so he rushed over to confront him, begging to borrow some money to bail him out. Akao denied it and refused to help because the amount was in the hundreds of billions, not exactly pocket change. Because of that, Akao's brother definitely wasn't going to vote for him. Akao said this could just be their mom's test, comforting Erin not to overthink it and just stick to the original plan. But deep down he still felt a bit uneasy. He secretly contacted his lawyer and wrote up a will. Akao seemed to be prepping for the worst-case scenario. Meanwhile, Akao's brother couldn't borrow the money and was stressing out. If his older brother became the chairman, he'd lose everything. His wife then came up with an idea. The day of the shareholder meeting finally arrived. Akao and Erin dressed sharp, getting ready to head to the meeting. On the flip side, Soy stared at a family photo, flashing back to his talk with Akao. Turns out, when he saw the gift Soy gave Erin, Akao realized his feelings for his wife, so he purposely marked his territory in front of him, warning him not to pull any moves on Erin, and even smashed the snow globe. Soy asked him the same question from last time. At that time, Akao said he wouldn't give it back because money only belongs to the strong. Those words cut Soy deep. Looking at the family photo, he pulled out his resignation letter, deciding that before he quit, he would expose the truth about Akao's mom stealing his dad's company back in the day. At the meeting, everyone was sitting tight waiting for Akao to show up. But Akao was a no-show. Soy showed up at the company too. He pulled out an old photo of his dad and the old lady, deciding to get justice for his parents right at the shareholder meeting. At this moment, Akao and Erin were on their way to the company. Akao told Erin that no matter what happened, to remember that everything he did was for her and their son. Erin looked at her husband with grateful eyes. At the meeting, the old lady stuck to the deal, nominating a candidate. Right at that second, Akao crashed into a truck driving the wrong way. The old lady quickly got the news and rushed to the hospital. When Soy got to the hall and didn't see his enemy's family anywhere, the secretary told him that Erin got into a car crash. Because of that, he headed to the hospital too. He overheard the doctor telling the old lady that both Akao and Erin were severely injured. Erin's secretary quietly led Soy away. The secretary brought Soy into a room. Anxiously, he pushed the door open and walked in. They heard the doctor say both Akao and Erin were critically injured. But what they didn't know was that this was fake news purposely put out by Erin. She told her secretary to call Soy, saying the driver's sketchy behavior showed this wasn't an accident. Erin let Soy, the person she trusted the most, leak the news that they were critically ill to the press, figuring that would draw out the person who set Akao up. Meanwhile, Kenta turned around and framed her younger brother for setting up their older brother, claiming that with him dead, she would become the heir. She advised her brother that if he wanted to clear his name with the cops, he'd better vote for her. Then the old lady grilled the siblings, asking if they were the ones who hired someone to set up their brother. Seeing them both deny it, the old lady decided to dig up the truth before calling the shareholder meeting. Just then, the butler came in to report that a ton of reporters were swarming in for interviews. To keep the stock price from tanking, the old lady had Kanta and the younger brother run the press conference, announcing that Akao and Erin only had minor injuries. Soy watched the whole thing go down from the sidelines. Meanwhile, Akao's surgery went smoothly. Lei Thong used her connections to find his hospital room and sneaked in to visit him. Akao woke up and saw Lei Thong. Probably scared Erin would find out about them, he quickly told her to leave. But as Lei Thong was walking out, she bumped right into Erin coming to visit Akao. Erin told her to stop messing with their lives from now on. Lei Thong replied she couldn't do that. As Lei Thong walked away, Erin happened to spot her earrings. It suddenly clicked that it was the exact style her husband had bought before. At the time, she even thought it was her birthday gift, but now it was dangling from Lei Thong's ears. Seeing this, Erin realized her husband was cheating on her, and immediately asked Soy to take her home. She tore through the drawers looking for those earrings, but they were nowhere to be found. This meant Akao had given them to Lei Thong, which meant they had been sneaking around this whole time. After that, she went back to the hospital and looked at Akao sleeping soundly. Erin couldn't believe the husband she trusted so much had been lying to her. Seeing her zoning out, Soy didn't know what had happened, but he told Erin that Kanta was getting ready to hold a press conference to announce the news that Akao and she were in critical condition. Turns out, the old lady had found out Kanta was the one behind the car crash. She slapped her hard, demanding how she dared to order a hit on her own brother. Seeing she couldn't hide it anymore, Kanta dropped the act. Knowing her mom had only ever wanted her oldest brother to be the heir all along, she told her mom to go ahead and call the cops to arrest her. Desperate, Kanta called her mom out for almost getting her brother killed. The old lady angrily kicked her daughter out. Seeing her own life falling apart, Kanta decided to drag everyone down with her. To get back at her mom, she held a press conference to announce that Akao and Erin were in critical condition. Not wanting her son to worry about them, Erin hurried to the hall to clear things up. She called Akao's attending doctor for proof, only to be told that Akao was currently in the ER because his heart condition flared up. Hearing the news, Erin rushed to the hospital. The old lady arrived and almost passed out when she heard the news. As Erin got to the hospital, remembering how much her husband loved her and their happy family moments, she prayed for him to be safe and sound. But when she got there, she only saw Akao's dead body. Erin broke down, unable to believe her worst nightmare had come true. In pure agony, she cried and screamed for her husband to wake up. The doctor told her to calm down, saying Akao was gone. Erin collapsed to the floor in absolute heartbreak. Facing her husband's passing, how was Erin supposed to go on living? This woman was so pitiful. Her family's breadwinner suddenly passed away. She buried herself and worked to numb the pain. She hugged a picture of her and her husband, completely devastated. Still deep in grief over losing her husband, she was pointlessly attacked by her mother-in-law and sister-in-law, who falsely accused her of killing him. It turned out Akao's sister told her mom that Akao had a heart condition and had previously undergone heart bypass surgery. Kanta told her mom to ask Erin why she kept it a secret. The old lady and Kanta immediately went to confront Erin. Erin explained it was Akao's idea, but now that the dead guy couldn't back her up, nobody believed her. Kanta falsely accused Erin of making her brother keep it a secret from everyone because she was scared that if his condition got out, the old lady wouldn't let him be the heir. Kanta went on to claim she checked the hospital security cameras, and Erin was the last person to leave the room before her brother had his heart attack, framing Erin for getting mad at him over the Lei Thong situation, which triggered his heart attack. Erin admitted she was truly pissed at Akao over Lei Thong, but swore she would never hurt him. The old lady knew Lei Thong had visited her son, so she bought her daughter's story, completely convinced Erin had killed her son. Facing these baseless accusations, Erin was deeply hurt. She told Soy the whole story. That night, she saw Lei Thong's earrings, which made her doubt her husband's love for her. Akao noticed she was acting weird and asked why. At that time, Erin just said they'd talk after he got better, and quietly walked away. Soy comforted Erin, telling her Akao really loved her, because he put his own life on the line to protect her during the car crash. Not long after, rumors accusing Erin of killing her husband blew up online. Even though Soy told Erin to lay low, she still brought her son to her husband's funeral. Remembering her husband's last words telling her to remember that everything he did was for her and their son, Erin cried, saying she would live a good life and protect their kid. Right then, the old lady and the rest of the family showed up. Seeing Erin at the funeral, the old lady furiously called her out as a murderer who had no right to be there. The mother-in-law said Erin took away her son, so she was going to take away the son Erin loved the most, to make her feel the pain of losing a child. After snatching Erin's son right out of her arms, they called the cops to drag Erin away from the funeral. After giving her statement, a lawyer came to bail Erin out. Turns out, a cow had hired this lawyer before he died to look out for her. The lawyer told Erin not to worry, saying there was no hard proof yet that a cow was murdered. The rumors online were all Kinta's doing. She even had her secretary film Erin getting dragged away by the cops, getting ready to keep pushing the narrative that Erin killed her husband. She believed that if a lie was repeated enough times, it would become the truth. Only by turning Erin into a murderer could she get the company shares back. Kinta was just waiting for the perfect chance to snatch her brother's fortune. She wouldn't even let Erin into the house, saying the house belonged to their family, a cow was dead, and she had no right to live there anymore. All alone with nowhere to go, Erin could only walk away in tears. She accidentally bumped into Soy's mom, ruining the clothes she had just washed. Feeling guilty, Erin walked Soy's mom home. Feeling sick, she almost passed out. Seeing she had a high fever, Soy's mom made her stay and rest. When Soy got off work and found out, he gently took care of her all night. The next day, he took her to look for her son again. This time they barged into the room, only to find the sister-in-law had taken over the house, and their clothes had been thrown out. At this point, Erin only cared about finding her son. Seeing he wasn't there, she ran to her mother-in-law's house. But her mother-in-law just blamed her for tearing her and her son apart, and said she'd wait for the police investigation. If Erin really did kill a cow, she would absolutely get her revenge. Erin explained that she loved her husband and could never hurt him, begging her mother-in-law to give her son back. She promised that if they just let her take her son, she would walk away with nothing. Kinta slapped her, warning her to get out immediately, or else she would send her son out of the country so she'd never see him again. Soy also told her to cool down. For her son's sake, Erin had to bite her tongue and chose to walk away. But she secretly promised herself that for her son, she would fight them to the bitter end. Overnight, the rich family's daughter-in-law lost her husband, and her life crashed from heaven to hell. She was falsely accused of being her husband's killer, had her son snatched away by her in-laws, and was kicked out of the house by her sister-in-law. Erin agreed that as long as they gave her son back, she would walk away empty-handed. But her mother-in-law wanted her to suffer the pain of losing a child. To get her son back, Erin had to prove she didn't kill her husband, so she went to the hospital to ask the doctor, only to find out his attending doctor was on vacation abroad. Erin was sick, and hearing that made her pass out. Soy caught her and took her to a hospital room for treatment. Lying in the hospital bed, Erin felt totally hopeless. Not long after, the lawyer brought good news. A cow's autopsy report proved he wasn't murdered. Because of that, with Soy's help and ideas, Erin held a press conference, claiming she was innocent, her husband's death had nothing to do with her, and announcing she was stepping down from all her company positions. Soy didn't get why Erin would do that and asked her why. Turns out a cow's sister had come to see Erin at the hospital. As long as she stepped down from her management roles in the company and gave up the family fortune, Kinta would give her son back. For her son, Erin decided to give up the money, because her son meant the world to her. Once Soy knew the reason, he decided to quit his job too. But Erin told him to keep working. After wrapping everything up, Erin went to her sister-in-law to get her son back. Kinta mocked her again, totally flexing her win. After she was done dragging Erin, she finally handed the kid over. Erin saw her son and quickly hugged him tight. Mother and son held each other, crying tears of joy to finally be together again. Kinta smugly walked away. She figured now that her sister-in-law had stepped down, she could easily take over everything her brother left behind. Turns out, not long before this, Nathan took her private video to the old lady, exposed his relationship with Kinta, and said he was going to help her run a cow's company. Kinta tried to pay him off with $1 billion to delete the video, but Nathan actually wanted to marry her and split the fortune 50-50. Kinta then pulled her old trick again, hiring a truck driver to run Nathan over. With all the obstacles out of the way, Kinta thought she had the company air spot in the bag. But what she didn't see coming was that when she got home, her mom chewed her out for giving her grandson back. The old lady said a cow had written a will before he died. That day, the lawyer started reading the will. The will clearly stated that all assets under a cow's name, along with 65% of the company's shares, went to his son, and Erin was appointed as the executor of the estate. In other words, a cow left all his shares and fortune to his wife and kid. Kinta and the younger brother just found out their older brother had become the biggest shareholder in the company, so they asked their mom about it. The old lady admitted she had transferred her shares to a cow, because a cow had the video proving they set Lathong up. Kinta was shocked, unable to believe her brother would play dirty against their own mom like that. The old lady said no one was more heartbroken than her to lose the empire she built from the ground up. Kinta and the younger brother weren't about to let Erin snatch the fortune away, so they plotted to kill Erin and her son. As long as they were wiped out, the whole fortune would be theirs. Meanwhile, Erin was comforting her son who missed his dad. Her son told her his dad made him promise to protect his mom, which really touched Erin. At this point, Erin still had no clue about her husband's will. She thought by giving up everything, she could live happily with her son. But she didn't know trouble was brewing, because Kanta had gone to Lei Thong and told her that a cowess will didn't leave her a single dime. This made Lei Thong hate Erin's guts. That day, someone tricked Erin into going to get her car. Two guys in dress shoes showed up at Erin's door. Erin was downstairs, heard from the staff that someone was looking for her, got a bad feeling and bolted back to check on her son. The little boy opened the door, saw who was there, and his eyes went wide with shock. Who was coming for Erin? This woman was so pitiful. The people who showed up were her dad and stepmom. Turns out her son had told his grandpa where they were staying. Erin then followed her dad back to their hometown. Knowing Soy had called to check on her, Erin told her dad to keep it a secret from Soy, and explained to her dad that she and Soy were just friends. Even though Erin purposely kept her distance from him, Soy was always worried about her. Right then, he got news that a ton of reporters were swarming the company. As the PR director, he quickly went to see what the drama was. Turns out this was Kanta's doing. She announced to the press that she was taking over the company. She thought her plan was flawless, but a major plot twist happened. Nathan, the guy she thought was dead, showed up right in front of her. Nathan was covered in injuries and publicly exposed his relationship with Kanta. To get back at Kanta, he leaked their private video online. Kanta's reputation was ruined in a flash, turning her into a total laughingstock. Kanta completely broke down and got into a screaming match with Nathan. Reporters swarmed her with questions. Soy, standing nearby, couldn't stand Nathan's scumbag move, so he stepped in to stop it and protect Kanta. He shielded Kanta so she could escape the mob of reporters. In the car, Kanta got an extortion call from Nathan. Soy, sitting next to her, recorded their whole conversation. He warned her that Nathan's actions were totally illegal, and told Kanta to call the cops to deal with him. Kanta was grateful for Soy's help. On the other side, Erin took her son to his martial arts class. While grabbing dinner, she bumped into a secretary who warned her that Kanta and her younger brother were plotting to hurt her and her son. Hearing this, Erin frantically went to look for her son, but he was nowhere to be found. She thought Kanta had snatched her son, so she ran to their house to look, bumping into Soy, dropping Kanta off. Erin marched right up, slapped Kanta across the face, and demanded to know where she took her son. Kanta said she had no clue. Soy also backed Kanta up, saying it wasn't her doing. Panicking, Erin drove off to search for her kid. Soy chased after her, cut off her car, and calmed her down so they could figure out a plan. Erin never expected the person who kidnapped her son would actually be Lei Thong, her husband's ex-wife. Turns out Lei Thong went to the class, used a picture of her and a cow to win the little boy's trust, claiming she was a good friend of his dad's, and promised to take him to see something his dad left for him. The boy bought it and went with Lei Thong. Lei Thong gave the boy a cup of spiked coffee milk, then took him into a room. The walls were covered with pictures of Lei Thong and a cow together. Lei Thong told the boy that his dad loved her. Then she blacked out all of Erin's pictures and slapped her own pictures over them. Seeing this, the boy realized this lady was bad news, but he quickly fell asleep. The rich woman's husband suddenly died, leaving the mother and son all alone to deal with all the fighting. Falsely accused of killing her husband, Erin was kicked out of the house by her in-laws. She was still grieving her husband's death, only to find out her beloved son had gone missing. Just as she and Soy were about to call the cops and check the security cameras, they heard a security guard say there was a kid in the parking lot. They checked and it really was Erin's son. Erin talked to her son, but he only knew he went with a cow's friend. He couldn't remember anything else important. Erin quickly comforted her son. She told Soy that ever since her husband died, she hadn't felt the warmth of family anymore. Erin suspected her son's kidnapping was her in-laws doing, warning them not to even dream about touching her money. For her son's safety, she decided not to go back to her in-laws' house ever again. Soy completely supported Erin's decision. The next day, Erin dressed casually, and Soy took her and her son to volunteer at an orphanage. He had Erin tell the kids the story of the reed and the snail. Erin felt inspired by the story, feeling like she was the reed in the story. Even living low to the ground, she could still feel happy. She thanked Soy for cheering her up and comforting her. That day, they went together to meet a cow's lawyer. The lawyer told Erin that a cow was the company's biggest shareholder, had left his entire fortune to his son, and named her the executor of the estate. The lawyer told Erin to step up and manage the estate soon, because Kanta was demanding he change the will. Knowing this, Soy told her a cow really loved her, and asked Erin what she planned to do next. Erin decided to take back what was rightfully hers. She grabbed a file and went to see her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law and sister-in-law blocked her at the door. Kanta brought up again that she and a cow weren't legally married, so even with a will, it was useless. The mother-in-law thought Erin was holding the will, but when she opened it, it was actually a cow and Erin's marriage certificate. Erin said it was a cow's birthday gift to her. Seeing that, Kanta and the mother-in-law were completely shook. Kanta was furious that Erin snatched her family's fortune and shoved her outside. Soy was standing right there and quickly stepped in to protect Erin. Erin stated she wanted to show them she was the boss of the company, but that wasn't what she really wanted. She asked, if I give everything back to you guys, can we call it quits? That question left everyone speechless. Erin said she was exhausted and didn't want any part of this war over money. She only asked her mother-in-law and sister-in-law to guarantee her son's safety, and she would hand the entire fortune back to them. She told them they could hit up the lawyer to handle the paperwork. After saying that, Erin and Soy headed back. The mother-in-law immediately told her daughter to contact the lawyer and hold a press conference to announce the company still belonged to them. Soy was amazed that Erin could walk away from that much money and told her that right or wrong, he'd stand by her. Still inspired by the story, Erin said she'd rather be a simple, happy read because she knew where her true happiness was. Soy felt inspired too, totally letting go of his past grudge. Erin's choice gave him the courage to believe that even without money, you can still live happily. And he always knew exactly where his happiness was too. Right then, he looked at a childhood photo of him and Erin. That day, Kenta discovered that when men are tempted by money, they would follow her every order. This made Kenta feel depressed. She felt like she couldn't find a single man who couldn't be bought with money. This time, Kenta thought of Soy. Soy had helped her deal with the sensitive video and didn't hold a grudge, even helping her escape Nathan's harassment. Knowing he had quit his job, Kenta tried to use money to thank him, but Soy refused. Kenta wanted Soy to come back to work, offering a price of $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, and finally $50 million. But Soy didn't look back and walked away. She had never seen a man who couldn't be bought with money. That moment made Kenta develop feelings for Soy. She then set up a meeting with Soy and proactively confessed her love, which left him completely surprised. Suddenly, Nathan appeared, using a gun to threaten Kenta into giving him $1 billion. Soy rushed in to help Kenta, getting into a fight with Nathan. After a fierce struggle while Soy was fighting for his life, a gunshot rang out, and Nathan died at Kenta's hands. Afterward, Kenta took Soy to the hospital to treat his wounds, telling him he didn't need to thank her for saving his life. Kenta told Soy to head back quickly. She asked her secretary to use connections to settle the matter. Since Nathan had a criminal record, the police said it was no problem. When she got home, she saw her mother was angry about this, so she comforted her mother by saying the press conference would still go on as planned, and she would explain that she was forced to open fire in self-defense. But something they didn't expect happened on Erin's side. Erin received the surveillance footage from the shopping mall and discovered that Lei Thong was the one who took her son. She immediately went to ask Lei Thong for the reason. When she arrived at Lei Thong's house, she saw a horrifying sight. She saw the walls covered with photos of her husband and Lei Thong together, and even her own family photos were pasted on the wall, but her face was crossed out and replaced with Lei Thong's face. Turning around, she saw Lei Thong holding a gun in her hand. Lei Thong said she had once promised a cow that if one of them died first, the other would follow. She intended to commit suicide to follow a cow, but now she planned to kill Erin first because Erin had caused a cow's death, making it impossible for her and a cow to be together. This woman and man had secretly been husband and wife for 10 years. Suddenly, the man she loved passed away. Since then, she suffered from insomnia and psychological issues. While being hypnotized, she was woken up by the doctor and realized it was just a dream. In the dream, she saw herself killing Erin to take revenge for the man she loved. It turned out she thought Erin was the one who killed a cow, so she hated her to the bone. Suddenly, Erin burst in and asked why she had kidnapped her son. Lei Thong then took Erin to her secret base. The entire wall was covered with photos of Lei Thong and a cow together. Lei Thong confessed that she and a cow had always loved each other, and they frequently went on secret dates. Erin angrily scolded Lei Thong for being immoral. Unexpectedly, she was almost pushed down by Lei Thong. She saw that horrifying family photo and heard the truth that everyone had hidden from her for 10 years. These words were like a bolt from the blue, leaving Erin unable to recover her senses. Seeing that the truth made Erin suffer, Lei Thong confessed that she initially planned to kill Erin, but seeing that the truth made Erin's life worse than death, she felt more satisfied. After saying that, she smugly walked away. Erin broke down and sat on the floor. She remembered back then when her husband had interrupted her mother-in-law's words. At this moment, Erin realized that what Lei Thong said might be true, so she went to her mother-in-law's house in a rage to confirm it. The old lady saw she couldn't hide it anymore, and could only remain silent. Erin painfully asked her mother-in-law if a cow truly loved her. Her mother-in-law told her to sign the share transfer agreement before she would tell her. Erin heartbrokenly tore the agreement to pieces. At this moment, she was certain that what Lei Thong said was the truth, and she was just a tool for her husband's family to carry on the lineage. Hearing her mother-in-law say she didn't marry a cow out of love, Erin ran out of her mother-in-law's house in agony. Although she initially married a cow to pay off her mother's debt, after 10 years of living together, she had loved him and believed that a cow loved her too. Discovering that she had lived in a lie for so long, Erin was extremely miserable. She was even more pained because a cow, the person she trusted, had deceived her for 10 years. In despair, Erin felt that life no longer had meaning and walked onto the street, intending to end her life. Luckily, a car swerved in time. The driver quickly got out to check the situation, and seeing Erin had fainted, he took her to the hospital. The driver didn't tell Erin his name and then quietly left. Soy heard the news and also came to visit Erin. Erin cried and told Soy the truth, saying she was heartbroken because her years of sacrifice only resulted in a lie. Soy tried to comfort Erin, who was having a mental breakdown. Seeing her crying and demanding to go find her son, Soy splashed water on Erin's face to wake her up, held her in his arms to comfort her, and advised her to live for the person she loves and the person who loves her. After calming down, Erin finally overcame the pain. She thanked Soy for helping her. At this time, Erin received a call from her secretary, saying that the factory workers heard they would be laid off and have their wages cut, so they were gathering to protest and demanding Erin resign. Erin and Soy rushed there to explain to the workers that it was a false rumor. Erin introduced herself as the new chairman of the company, saying she never said she would fire anyone, and promised she would help them. The workers, knowing the person they wanted to fire was right in front of them, became even more agitated and demanded she leave the company. Just as the situation became chaotic, the driver who saved Erin appeared. It turned out he was a senior advisor to the minister. He stood up to vouch for Erin, putting an end to the workers' protest. Under the guarantee of the senior advisor, Erin and the workers reached an agreement, and from then on the workers' protest was resolved. It turned out this was Cow Moya's plan. She wanted to use this method to force Erin to leave, but the old lady scolded her daughter for it backfiring, because this also let everyone know that Erin was now the owner of the company. Two men passed each other who were actually biological brothers. Although they recognized each other, they acted like strangers. After the senior advisor left, Soy brought a first aid kit to treat Erin's wounds. He asked Erin how she knew the senior advisor. Erin said she accidentally saved him yesterday. She asked Soy to take her to a cow's grave. She told her husband that she knew the whole truth. Erin said she would forgive a cow because her husband and son had given her moments of true happiness. Soy also advised Erin to forget the pain and only keep the beautiful memories in her heart. At this time, Soy received a call from Kenta. It turned out a cow's sister knew Soy liked Erin, so she called to ask him to go to the police station to testify for her. Kenta announced to the reporters that to protect the person she loved, she was forced to shoot Nathan dead. Soy heard Kenta change her testimony and turned to walk away. Kenta chased after him, asking why he wouldn't accept her, and if it was because he loved Erin. Soy didn't answer directly, only blaming her family for deceiving and using Erin, clearly stating he didn't want to see her again. At this time, Kenta saw a piece of breaking news, saying that her mother got rich by cheating others. This news also reached the old lady. Seeing the old photo with Soya's father from years ago, she was terrified and quickly told the butler to settle the matter. She then went to the backyard to burn some things. Kenta also came to ask her mother if the news in the paper was true. A cow's mother said that back then, to escape poverty, she did whatever it took and scammed other people's companies. At this time, Kenta still didn't know that the person her mother was talking about was none other than Soya's father. At this moment, Soya's father was cleaning his room and accidentally saw an old photo. He suddenly remembered that he had another son besides Soy. Seeing his father remember his older brother, Soy angrily tore the photo of him and his brother. He then received a call from his brother asking to meet, so he went to the meeting spot. Lao said it had been 20 years, yet Soy still refused to call him brother. At this moment they got lost in memories. It turned out that back then when their family was scammed out of the company, their mother called Lao, who was studying in the US at the time, telling him to come back to encourage his father. But Lao refused. Soy blamed his brother for abandoning them and not coming back to share the pain with their parents. Lao explained that his coming back wouldn't have meant anything, and said his life in the US was also very hard, having to study diligently and win scholarships to cover tuition. Soy thought his brother was selfish, only thinking of himself, and didn't want to say anything more to him now. Lao seemed to want to say something to his younger brother, but Soy walked away in anger. On the other side, Erin saw her son say he would try to earn money to have more time for her, and she was inspired, deciding to stand up and fight for her son. She went to see her mother-in-law to express her attitude. Since she was the one holding the company, she said she would move here to live. Erin was angry about the deceptive behavior of her husband's family. The old lady said a cow was dead already and advised her not to be angry anymore. Erin said if her mother-in-law knelt down to apologize to her, she would allow her to continue living in this house. To avoid living in poverty, a cow's mother knelt down before Erin. Erin told her to stop, clearly stating that from now on, everyone would live their own lives, and told her mother-in-law and sister-in-law not to cause trouble anymore, otherwise, she would use every means to take revenge. On the other side, Soya's father put back together the photo that Soy had torn up. He was happy because he remembered his eldest son's name, so he turned on the voice recorder and recorded his son's name. At this moment the doorbell rang. Soya's father put down the voice recorder and went to open the door. It turned out the old lady had come there. She wanted to confirm if Soya's father was truly senile. She took out the photo from the newspaper and blamed him for causing it. Soya's father saw the photo, remembered everything, and angrily scolded the old lady as a scammer. After that, the two of them argued fiercely. She demanded Soya's father go to the press conference to clarify that back then, he voluntarily sold the company to her, and she didn't scam him at all. Soya's father said he would tell the truth to everyone. No one expected the incident was caused by Lau. He called Erin again to ask if she wanted his help. At this time, Erin just found out about the news of her mother-in-law's scamming. She was extremely surprised and said she needed to find out the details of this news. She told her secretary to pay attention to the actions of her mother-in-law and sister-in-law. At this time, her father said Soy had brought medicine for her and had been waiting for her for a long time. He said Soy had silently waited for her for 20 years and advised his daughter to accept Soya's feelings. Erin thought Soy only helped her as a friend, but her father's words made her feel there was some logic to it. She then called Soy and asked why he still didn't have a girlfriend? The man, knowing he was about to meet the girl he secretly loved, was overjoyed and practiced his confession in his heart countless times. But he was informed that she had to go to an urgent press conference and couldn't make the date. Soy found out the press conference was about his father's company being scammed, and learned that his father had suddenly gone missing. What Soy didn't know was that at this moment, his father was on his way to the press conference. It turned out Akao's mother had used the lives of his family members to threaten Soya's father, forcing him to declare that he had voluntarily sold the company to her, and she hadn't scammed him. Everyone was quietly waiting for the meeting time. Then they saw the senior advisor leading the police to the company to investigate the case. Akao's mother learned about the senior advisor's intention. At this time, Akao's mother still didn't know the senior advisor's true identity. The senior advisor was Lau Soya's older brother. As soon as he finished speaking, Lau saw his father come to the company. Soya's father didn't recognize the son he had been separated from for 20 years. Lau was both happy and sad when greeting his father. At this moment, he didn't dare to claim his father. When the two were about to shake hands and talk, Akao's mother interrupted. She locked Soya's father in a room and forbade anyone from contacting him. Lau wanted to talk to his father, but was stopped by the butler. Finally, the press conference time arrived. The butler went to call Soya's father to the hall but heard the sound of him jumping from the building to commit suicide. Soy came to find his father, just in time to witness that heartbreaking sight. His father fell right before his eyes. Before he died, his hand still tightly held the photo of him and his brother. Soy broke down, wailing and calling for his father, but his father would never answer him again. Akao's mother was giving her speech when she heard the news and was completely shocked. Lau stood from afar, witnessing this scene with extreme pain. He didn't expect that to be the last time he would see his father. Soy quickly organized the funeral for his father. Lau quietly came to pay his respects. Soy blamed his brother for having no right to come and burn incense or bow before their father. Lau said he studied hard and gained power just to get revenge for their family. He said he had waited for 20 years, gathering evidence, specifically to expose Akao's mother's crimes. Soy found out the news was leaked by his brother, so he punched his brother once, saying he joined the company to get revenge, but for his father's safety, he had given up. Lau didn't agree with his younger brother, insisting on seeking revenge his own way. Therefore, the two brothers argued again. On the other side, Akao's mother plotted again with a brilliant performance. She tearfully told the reporters that Soya's father had been her friend for 20 years, and she purposely revealed he was senile so the reporters would believe the news of him being scammed out of the company was just the rambling of an insane person. She even said she would set up a charity fund for senile people. She thought she could hide everything perfectly, but Erin came in holding a piece of paper to denounce her crimes. It turned out Erin had picked up a paper written by Soya's father in the room where he was held, stating that Akao's mother scammed his company and forced him to take the blame. Akao's mother crumpled the paper and threw it at Erin, saying no one would believe the words of a senile person. Learning that the company her mother-in-law scammed was actually Soya's father's, Erin went to visit him. Soy told Erin to leave quickly. He didn't want his mother to know Erin's identity, which would break her heart. While they were talking, Lau saw them from afar. Lau recognized his brother's feelings for Erin and told his brother that to get revenge, he had to marry Erin. As long as he married her, he would get the company, thereby getting revenge for the family. And the only safe path for Erin was also to become the chairman. To protect Erin, Lau asked his younger brother to make way for him. Lau's deduction was correct. To seize the company, Akao's mother called a board meeting, falsely accusing Erin of being Akao's killer, and demanding a reinvestigation of the case so the police would arrest Erin. But what everyone didn't expect was that the police arrested Akao's brother's wife and Akao's brother's daughter. The police announced there was solid evidence proving she was the culprit. It turned out this was Lau's setup. He discovered that Akao's brother's wife had bribed the nurse to inject poison into Akao. None of the people present knew what was going on. Only Erin knew Lau was helping her because Lau had once said he would be falsely accused of murder. He knew who the real culprit was and said he would help her become the owner of the company. The old lady told her daughter to investigate who was helping Erin. Kenta quickly found out it was Lao, the senior advisor. She brought gifts to bribe Lao, but Lao didn't care at all. Kenta was forced to walk away helplessly. Akao's brother begged his mother to save his daughter but failed. Kenta plotted for him to kidnap Erin's son to save his daughter. Therefore, Akao's brother kidnapped his own nephew. At this time, Erin was meeting with Lao. Lao confessed his love to Erin. Just as she didn't know how to answer, Erin received news that her son was missing, quickly excused herself, and prepared to go find him. Kenta came and blocked her, saying her son had been kidnapped by his uncle. Kenta used the life of Erin's son to force her to sign the asset transfer agreement and told her to go home and wait for her son. Receiving the agreement, Kenta smiled smugly. But what Akao's brother didn't expect was that his sister called the police. The money war finally ended. The story had a happy ending for the lovers. The old lady faced retribution for her many evil deeds, as both her son and daughter died. It turned out Kao Muoi had used the life of Erin's son to threaten him, forcing him to sign the asset transfer agreement. Akao's brother luckily escaped the police circle. When the old lady found out Erin had transferred the assets to her daughter, she was wondering how her daughter did it when she heard shocking news. Lathong came to tell them a truth. Akao and she had secretly set up a fund company, transferred 700 billion of the company's assets, and registered it under Akao and Lathong's names. Lathong suspected the mother-in-law and sister-in-law had killed Akao, so she opened fire and shot the old lady and her daughter dead. Afterward, Lathong imagined herself having heavy bleeding and a miscarriage, repeatedly calling for her child not to leave her. Lathong's crazy behavior terrified the old lady and her daughter. At this time, the secretary came to tell them the truth. Lathong was severely mentally ill, but the fund company matter was real, and the 700 billion had been transferred. At the same time, Erin also learned this from Lao. She finally understood that Akao legally marrying her wasn't out of love, but to create a distraction and protect Lathong. She sadly told Soy the truth. Knowing the truth, Kenta wanted to kill Lathong to seize the assets. But if Lathong died, the 700 billion would be transferred to Erin as marital property. Therefore, she plotted again. She persuaded her brother, who had just escaped the police, to seize the assets together. First, she gave Lathong a sedative, then told her brother to kidnap Erin and bring her to Lathong's house. Akao's brother forced Erin to fire the gun and kill Lathong, creating a fake scene of a double suicide. After both died, the 700 billion would belong to the two siblings. Erin didn't want to be used as a murder tool by Akao's brother, so she pointed the gun at him. Just as she was in danger, Soy came to stop him. He and Akao's brother fought, and he was injured. Just as Akao's brother was about to act cruelly toward Soy, Lathong picked up the gun and shot him dead. At the same time, at the company's 30th anniversary celebration, the old lady had just announced she would pass the chairman position to her daughter. Kenta was preparing to speak when she saw Erin come into the hall. At this moment, the police also arrived to announce the news that Akao's brother had died. Akao's brother's wife heard the news of her husband's death, and immediately accused Kenta of killing her husband. She presented a video recorded by Akao's brother before he died, proving that he went to kill Lathong and Erin on Kenta's orders. Facing the undeniable evidence, Kenta asked the police for one more day, saying she would turn herself in tomorrow. But the next day, when the police came to take Kenta to the station, they learned she had committed suicide in her office. The old lady came to see her daughter's face one last time, and saw the video Kenta recorded before she died. Kenta only wished her mother could acknowledge and praise her. The old lady regretted it, holding her dead daughter and tearfully praising her for being talented. Unfortunately, Kenta could no longer hear this late praise. Just like that, the old lady lost all of her children. When she held the funeral for her children, only Erin came to be with her. The once large house was now left only with the lonely old lady. That day, Soy came to visit the old lady, giving her the recording of the conversation between her and his father from years ago. The old lady thought Soy wanted to use this recording to convict her, but what she didn't expect was that Soy destroyed the recording in front of her. He said he would forgive her because his father wanted them not to live in hatred anymore. Soy's tolerance and kindness touched the old lady. She came to sincerely apologize to Soy and his family. On the other side, Lao made it clear that he was Soy's older brother and confessed his love to Erin. But Erin said the person she liked was someone else, firmly rejecting his feelings. Afterward, Lao went to visit his mother. He knelt down to apologize to his mother. His mother was very happy that her son came to visit her. Soy, standing from afar, also forgave his brother. Erin then came to return Akao's ring to her mother-in-law. The old lady confided in Erin, taking out a photo of Akao and his siblings as children, tearfully telling Erin that only now did she realize what she truly needed wasn't money, but to live with her children. The old lady tearfully said she was wrong and begged Erin to be the company chairman. She believed Erin would definitely grow the company. Erin had to accept her mother-in-law's request. She was determined to learn from her mother-in-law's lesson, and use love to teach her son to become strong. Erin learned from the butler that it was Soy's tolerance that changed the old lady. Her feelings and admiration for Soy deepened even more. She thanked Soy for being tolerant and forgiving her mother-in-law, making her understand many things. Soy also took this opportunity to confess his love to Erin. Erin immediately agreed. Soy happily held Erin in his arms. Finally, the lovers became husband and wife. The movie had a happy ending.